Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is going to be another game from Double Up, which is the co-op mode for Teamfight Tactics. I haven't had time to play a ton of this, but I'm hoping to get a chance to play more of this game mode in the future. I am queued up here with El Grillo, I did the previous video that I posted of Double Up mode on on YouTube. I did a game right before this with Symbol, where we put together some good teams, but weren't able to come out on top. And then Grillo and I queued for this game, and it went a bit better. So we're gonna take a look in this game at another double up game mode. And in particular, we're going to look at the augment that I picked up, which is I don't want to spoil it too much, but it is an item augment that gave me a whole bunch of item components. So if you're new to this, if you're unfamiliar with this mode, this is the two-player mode. In this game mode, you play together with a teammate. You both share the same health bar. So if one of you takes damage, then the other one takes damage, and vice versa. And if you win a round quickly, you're able to come join the other player's board and help out their team, and vice versa. So you have the option to come join the other player if you can win rounds quickly. But of course, the other players have that option as well. So like you might be winning a round and then their teammate comes in and all of a sudden the game swings in that direction. So for that very reason, we found that it's good to be strong early on. You don't really want to be lost streaking in this mode because if you're lost streaking, it allows the other person you're playing's teammate to come in and you can kind of spiral pretty quickly. All right, so far, nothing all that interesting's happened, but here's where the game is going to start to take form. I get different augments, and I get the Junkyard augment. Gain a random component every 3 combat rounds when the scrap trait is active. And this is just an insanely good augment to get for the first augment. It's not that good if you get it for the second or third one, but for the first one, this is amazing. All you have to do is have scrap trait in, and you will get a free item component every 3 rounds. It does not count the minion rounds. It only counts the PvP rounds, but that's still great because over the course of the game, that's going to be about 6 or 7 items. So that's really, really nice. And all you have to do is keep scrap 2 in play. You don't need scrap 4 or scrap 6. So that's what I'm going to look to do here. I know that I will get more items, so I'm going to look to play through that. Now, the other thing that you get in this game mode is you can see there's a little item on my bench, and that is an item that allows you to transfer a champion and also any items that they might be carrying over to your partner, and you get 3 of them throughout the game. You start with 1, so it's really important to communicate with your teammates as far as what champions you want them to send you, what champions you can send them, that sort of thing. And right here out of the bat, so I have a chance to potentially play Yordles. I can play 3 Yordle, 2 Scrap to give me some extra income by playing that Lulu. I have to keep Ezreal and Ziggs on my board so that the Junkyard trait will keep giving me item components. I won't see one for a couple of rounds, but I'll get one in time. So basically, I can play Yordles here, or I can opt to play 2 Bodyguards. And I decided I wouldn't be too greedy, that I would play the Bodyguards because just a Poppy for frontline and nothing else felt like it would be way too weak. As far as what Grillo's playing, again, it's a shame that there's no actual replays for Teamfight Tactics because I'd love to show you what he's doing with his board. He took an Assassin augment to start, but he didn't end up getting a ton of Assassin champions. He actually ended up getting a lot of Scrap champions. So this is kind of like the Scrap duo here. I'm going to be using Scrap stuff because I want to make use of that Junkyard augment. And Grillo he often plays rounds with the Scrap trait. He's had a lot of success doing that. Grillo does lose the first round, unfortunately. We were up against someone who had like a 2-star Katarina or something like that. So end up losing that round. But even though I can't show you Grillo's board, you just have to kind of take my word for it that he's going to be playing more in the way of a scrap board. And one of the things he does is he very early on makes a Bramble Vest on a 2-star Poppy. I believe that he gets a Bramble Vest off the carousel on stage 2. That's getting a little ahead of myself, but I don't have a chance to show Grillo's board that much. And then basically off of having like this 2-star Bodyguard frontline with a Bramble Vest, he was able to win streak through a lot of the early rounds. As far as what I'm doing here, I have the Giant Slayer on Ezreal. So I took a bow off the initial carousel. Then I got a sword and another bow. So I was like, okay, that's not too bad. That means I can almost certainly get a glove for Last Whisper at some point in time. So I'll go ahead and make Giant Slayer right now. It's not a great early game item because Giant Slayer's particular thing is you do bonus damage against enemy champions that have very high health. I think the health threshold's like 1600 it's somewhere around there. And obviously, the enemy units do not have enough health to trigger the Giant Slayer threshold in the early game. So it's not a great early game slam, but I knew I was going to be playing an AD comp of some kind. And, I had the sword and two bows. I thought it made sense just to make use of the item and, use the components that I have. The other bow, I want to be a Last Whisper, but I'm pretty confident I can get a glove at some point in time throughout this game. And if I really can't get it, then if worse comes to worse, maybe Grillo can send me a glove. So one of the two of us is going to get a glove. That's one thing you have to keep in mind for double up mode is because you are working together with a partner, you are much more likely to be able to get perfect items on your carries than you are in normal League of Legends. And the boards tend to cap out at much higher amounts as well. That is, like, you're going to see more 3-star units. You're going to see more people hitting legendary units because you can have your partner send you what you need. So you kind of have to build with the assumption that the boards are all going to be stronger. This person's running some bodyguards, and I thought for sure I would lose this round, but Ezreal rolls a Last Whisper, which is perfect for cutting through the armor on this team. I'm still going to lose the round, but oh, here comes Grillo. He's got that Poppy with the Bramble Vest, 2-star Poppy. So yeah, this other team really can't do anything to him. So Grillo keeps my win streak intact. He gets there just in time to save the day, and that's always nice to see. So I guess he already had the Bramble before this carousel. I thought that he got it on this carousel, but I guess I was misremembering. But yeah, he's looking to win streak off of having really strong frontline, which is something I've been emphasizing a lot in my own games. So another thing you want to do is it's very important to communicate with your partner as far as what you want to take off these carousels. So I was telling Grillo I would like to get either a frontline item because I have no frontline stuff at all right now, or I'd like to get the glove for a Last Whisper. So I am going to take the glove for Last Whisper, and Grillo is going to go ahead and take the cloak because it is an assassin unit. He was thinking about playing through assassins, and it also gives him the chance to get the cloak. So here we get the first item drop. You can see at the top of the screen, if you're new to this mode on stage 2.5 and stage 2.6, you get a chance to, in one of the rounds, you will get a chance to pick something to send to your partner. And in the other round, your partner gets a chance to pick something to send you. It's always for these first two item components or 8 gold. And here in the early game, it's usually more worthwhile to take the 8 gold, unless it's like just the perfect item component for your setup, just because the extra gold really accelerates your economy a lot. One way of thinking about this is if you get Windfall, which is a prismatic augment, if you take Windfall on the first augment, it gives you 15 gold immediately. Now, granted, you're getting this later. You're not getting it on 1.4, so it's not as good to get 8 gold, but it's still quite nice to get that to get 8 gold at this early stage in the game. So it's like half the value of Windfall, albeit slightly later in the setup. So in this particular round, I'm up against someone who's playing through like a Katarina and Assassins, and I think I would have won the round anyway, but Grillo comes in and, jumps onto my board, so we win very easily. Now I have a chance to send him something, sword, cloak, or gold, and I believe Grillo said he wanted the sword, so I'm going to send that over to him. And I hit a Lux at 2% odds. I was like, oh, that's kind of nice, but there's just nothing I can do with this Lux. Look at my items. All AD items. What I really want right now is frontline items. I want like vests and cloaks and belts so I can actually not have my 1-star Darius and 1-star Poppy just die so quickly. But yeah, so that's kind of the setup that we've got going on here. I also so I did get my first item from the junkyard augment. It was a tier. I tossed it on Ezreal. The reason why I put it on him is he's going to roll a free item from the scrap trait. So I just figured I'd stick that on him so he starts making use of that. Obviously, I'm trying to win streak here. It would be really nice to win this round so I can carry a win streak through into the minion stage, get that 5-round win streak. So like Ezreal has rolled a Shojin, which is not a great item, but it does cause him to cast more often. Like I would not make this item on Ezreal, but I mean it's certainly not bad having it. So he casts significantly more often on his ability. And if you're unfamiliar with Ez, the way his ability works is he stacks up attack speed. Now I'm going to lose this round, or am I? Woo! Ez gets just barely enough to win that round. So he survives with 60 HP. Like if I don't put the tier on him, I definitely lose that round. So it's worthwhile that I made that choice just to win streak through that round and keep the win streak going all the way through stage 2. So yeah, Grillo lost the first round, but he's won every round since then, and I've won every round since I won the first round, and he came in and saved me on one of those rounds. So again, this is why I suggested good to be strong early on. Look at his board; he's got 4 scrap in right now. and he's getting a lot of free item stuff. So this is really like the game of just both of us getting all kinds of like, crazy item stuff. Grillo with the scrap trait, me with junkyard augment. Like we're just getting a lot of free items. This round, I rolled a static shiv, which is kind of the item I'd like Ezreal to roll because static shiv is really good early game. Doesn't scale well into the late game, but the electricity does a lot of damage early game. And I'm very happy with the items I got here. Two defensive items. I was like, excellent. I am very weak on frontline. I need to upgrade my frontline because a 1-star Darius with no items and a 1-star Poppy with no items is not going to cut it. But at least I managed to hit 2-star Poppy. And I was planning on holding Shaco's because we were thinking maybe Grillo, he's got that assassin emblem that he took at the start of the game. The thinking was, why don't we try to build 3-star Shaco? And he was going to try to look to play into assassins. But in the long run, he didn't actually end up going that route. Ended up going much more in the way of scrap units, as I said. It's one of the team comps that Grillo builds pretty frequently. So we were not overly, we were looking at the boards of some of the other players. We were not overly impressed by these other boards over here. Note as well that I'm playing Yordles. I found a Trist. I was going to try to transfer the items on Ezreal over to Tristana, but Ez was just doing such a great job that I decided to just keep them on him anyway. Because besides, I need to keep 2 scrap units in anyway. I figured, we'll just keep in the Ezreal for right now. Why not? But I have picked up Blitzcrank, so I have the option to, if I want, I could ditch either the Ziggs or the Ezreal and still have scrap trade in. And that's exactly what is going to happen here. Or no, never mind. I ended up selling that. I thought that I ended up selling the Ziggs, playing Heimer, and then putting in Blitz, but I actually did not end up doing that there. I'm certainly going to go ahead and level though. So we'll go ahead and level and put in Blitz. He doesn't actually make any other traits, but just gives me another unit to play. I was trying to see if there was a way I could get 4 bodyguards in because that would make me a lot tankier. What I really should have done there, and I think I do this later in the game, is I could have sold Ziggs, played Heimer, and then that would keep Yordle trait in play. And then I could have Blitz who would maintain scrap and would also um, you know, have the pull at the beginning of each fight. So I've got Leona solo frontlining right now. I fortunately have rolled the static shiv again in this round, which is quite nice. And kind of winning these rounds pretty easily. As we said, we weren't overly impressed by what the other players were running in this game. So both of us are off on long win streaks, and that is so good for us because we are getting tons of income that lets us push levels faster, lets us get access to the late game champs faster. And then I look at these items, I was like, I got a scrap part. I wish Grillo had that because he's playing through scrap. I can get 1 completed item, but I can probably do better than that. And then there's Pandora's items. Get 1 component at the start of each round. Items on your bench are randomized. So this is the augment that causes your items to get scrambled every round. I was like, you know what? This has great synergy with the junkyard augment, which is the first one that I took, because not only do I keep getting more augments, or not only do I keep getting more components, they get randomized at every round. So like they can be anything that I want them to be. Because they'll just at the start of each round turn into something else. So this means I can basically get perfect items on all my units. And yeah, this is what you see me referring to in the last round. I sell the Ziggs. I go ahead and put the Heimer in, that maintains Yordles, and then I put Lysandra in for Scholar. And I'm going to toss a belt on Lysandra because that will turn into, sooner or later, I will get a rod from my randomized items, and then that'll give me a Morello's, which I 100% want because you pretty much always want some kind of healing debuff in this set. I mean, it's good in every set, but there's a lot of healing in this set. So definitely want to get more Morello's. So I will put the belt on Lysandra, and that way the item will not change. That's the way that you stop the items from changing is you put them on a champion. It doesn't have to be a champion in play. You can put it on a champ on your bench if you want. But I figure it's better to have these items in use than have them do nothing. So like Triss can now hold this. I do want this sword later on. It can be Infinity Edge or it could be a Guardian Angel. But I also want a Bramble Vest for my frontliner. So a big need for more vests. The good news is I will keep getting item components from Junkyard. And then Pandora's items will transform them into other stuff, so they can be anything that I want them to be. All right, so on this carousel, again, I'm just looking to take most expensive unit, because again, remember, my items can be anything that they want. I believe Grillo said he wanted the glove on the Lux, if I remember correctly, which fortunately is going to be over there by him anyway. I would happily take the Yone with the vest, but that gets taken. So out of these, I just take most expensive unit. I guess it could be Cho or Shaco, either one, but I was closer to the Cho. It doesn't really matter. Both of them are going to be sold, as far as I'm concerned. So I get a sword, and then that'll be something else. But like, look right here. The item on my bench has turned into a vest. That's great. I will turn that into Bramble Vest. And you may have noticed I went to level 7 pretty early. I wanted to go to level 7 so I could play Scholar trait. So again, I'm just scaling here, scaling, scaling, scaling. Yordles is giving me money every round. Yordles is great to play if you can, because it's going to give you that extra income. And then I'm getting more items every 3 rounds. I get another item from Junkyard, and then I can build the items into literally anything that I want because they are going to get continue to be randomized. Like that tier on Ezreal is kind of useless right now, but once I sell Ezreal, that'll go back to being a tier on my bench. It'll get randomized to something else. So like I can't really use tiers in this team composition very well, but that doesn't matter. I don't have to have tiers if I don't want to. This game just feels like it's giving me everything I could possibly want. And like I win that round very quickly, but Grillo actually won his round even faster. As I said, we didn't feel like the people who were hitting in this lobby were all that strong. Like, look at the person I'm up against. They have like 4 items on their bench that they're not using. I mean, you kind of if I have like more items than I'm supposed to have, and you don't even use the items that you do get, it's probably not going to go well. So like once again, here comes another item, and I was like, ooh, that's another glove. I could make this. So here's where I had a decision to make. It's like, do I want to make Infinity Edge for my last item? Because I could have Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, Giant Slayer. I can have that for my 3 items that I'm going to put on. It's planned to be Jhin eventually. I was like, I could put those items, or do I want a Guardian Angel for the last item on Jhin? Guardian Angel is definitely safer, provides a lot more safety, and I decided I would take a look and see how many assassins were in the lobby. So I'm like looking here. There's someone who's playing assassins. Let's see. That person, and then there's another. So I see there's 2 people in the lobby playing assassins. I was like, okay, just for safety's sake, let's put a Guardian. Let's make Guardian Angel instead. So I'll hold off on making Infinity Edge. I'll go for Guardian Angel for that last item slot just because it's a lot safer, because there's a couple people playing Assassins in the lobby. Obviously, I would do more damage with Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, Giant Slayer, but because I can afford to be super picky with items, I will go ahead and be super picky. Again, I'd like to show Grillo's board more often. I would happily show his board more frequently, but this is pre-recorded footage. There's no replay, so there's only so much I can do in that regard. I grabbed the Scion, and I was sitting here. I was like, what do I want my late game front line to be? As I amusingly get double tiers here on the bench. I was like, because I have the Junkyard Augment, I have to keep Scrap in at all times. I was like, all right, so who are my 2 Scrap traits? Who are my 2 Scrap champions I'm playing in the late game? As Morelos pops out for me there. I was like, well, I want Janna. Janna's going to be great. And then I think I want Blitzcrank for the other one. So if I run Blitz in my late game comp, then I think the front line is Scion plus Galio plus Blitzcrank. It's a really nice trio of units. It does eat up 5 slots, which is not great, but it's a really nice setup. And I can go ahead and do this. I can get Bramble on Scion. I can put Morelos on Scion. And then I can make Dragonclaw on Scion. So he's going to be incredibly tanky if I can 2-star him. And then I put the Lissandra back in again. So I did go to level 8. And by the way, I'm 8 on 4-1 here. So you can see we are super duper rich, the 2 of us, and we are taking advantage of that to push economy as much as possible. Now I have a chance to build more items over here if I want. I'm kind of using Triss to hold items now for partly for Jhin, but also if I was thinking, who else do I itemize? Like if I itemize Scion, so he's fully itemized now, and Jhin is about to be fully itemized as well. Who do I itemize next? I was like, do I itemize Galio next? I guess I do, because Galio can kind of be like an off carry as well. This is the first time in a while that I actually end up going over to Grillo's board. He was up against someone who was running 4 bodyguards, and Grillo was going to win the round, but it just took him slightly longer to cut through all that armor. All right, so I'm still holding these Shakos to send over to Grillo. I'm also holding Jhins now. So I've got a whole lot of belts on my bench. Do I want any belts? I was like, I don't think I want to make that, but I will make the Guardian Angel. So there we go. So now I've got my Jhin items ready. I have to decide when to put in Jhin. It's basically when I drop the Yordle trait is when I will look to do that. I do want to roll down a little bit here. Obviously, we've been win streaking through all these rounds, but I do need to roll a little bit on 8. I thought that I would maybe roll after go up to 50 gold and then roll for a bit. Probably after the carousel. Now, again, that's a standard roll down time for level 8 is after the carousel on stage 4, on stage 4 5. By the way, this person we're up against is playing Yordles, just like literally just straight Yordles, no other traits. And that is not that great in normal teamfight tactics, and it's especially weak here in double up where all the boards are stronger. So yeah, do not recommend that. That said, this round, it looks like we're actually going to end up losing this round because this is an assassin player who is able to jump on some of the carries in the backline. So Grillo does actually lose a round. After having that really, really long win streak. But that's not a surprise. People are rolling down. Like we have not been rolling down on our boards. So we do expect to lose some of these rounds here. I was looking at the items on my bench. I was like, oh, you know what? I can just make Infinity Edge here. That's a pretty good item on Galio, and Triss can use the item pretty well in the meantime too. So I'm not going to level this round. I'm not looking to fast 9, but I'm not going to roll here either. I'm going to wait and roll after the carousel because I want to see what item I get. And then I'll roll down and try to hit 2-star Jhin and try to find like Galio and Janna. Oh, the unit I really need is Janna because I can't transfer the items off Ezreal until I find Janna. Remember, I need to keep Scrap Trade in for Junkyard, so I've kind of been waiting to find Janna to play the Jhin that I found. I need to keep Scrap Trade in, so the goal is sell Ez, put Janna in, that maintains Scrap, and then I can take the items off Ezreal and put them on Jhin. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, and I'm expecting to roll down. Here comes Grillo, and so yeah, it's always hilarious when there's like 15 units from your two teams just beating the daylights out of some poor sap on the other board. So we also still have not, I don't think either of us have sent a champion over to the other player yet. So we're waiting on that as well. We both had the option to send champions over to the other person's board. So I was, again, thinking that I would send this Shaco over to Grillo, but he kind of has moved out of the Assassins at that point. He also would have liked to have gotten out a Kali with a Rod, which would have been pretty cool. But that, of course, gets snapped up. That's not a surprise. I tell Grillo, I'm just going to take this Scion because that gets me 2 out of 3 Scions. The item will pop off, and then it'll just become something else. That cloak pops off because Scion's already fully itemized. So now I just need to find one more Scion, and my front line gets much, much stronger when that's the case. All right, now it's time to roll. So let's see what we can find. All right, so there's a Shaco that I can send over to Grillo. And there's a Janna, so now I can start making this transfer over. So there we go. We keep Scrap Trade in play. That's gonna, then we go ahead and put the Jhin in. So I'm going to look to put items on Jhin. So Giant Slayer, yes. Last Whisper, yes. And now I need to roll. I've got 3 Lissandras. That's pretty funny, but I'm not looking to play that unit right now. I still got Scholar Trait in, and now I'm rolling, and I just need a little bit more time. I find another Jhin. So I've got 2 out of 3 Jhins, and I just need a little bit more time to finish rolling down now. I actually still have Yordle Trait in, which I would like to take out. But right now, the biggest things for me to hit would be 2-star Jhin. I have 2 out of 3, and then 2-star Scion. I have 2 out of 3 Scions. I really need to roll to finish hitting both of those. Now, these other boards we're up against just do not look very strong at all. For whatever reason, just the lobby we were in did not feel that good. And of course, we've been super duper rich, so that makes it easier. Like one of these teams is almost out of the game already, and we're on 91 HP. But yeah, I need to roll a little bit more so I can look to hit stuff. Here, the obvious choice is Celestial Blessing. I have no healing on my Jhin, so that will allow him to heal off of his auto attacks. So I send the Shaco over to Grillo, even though he doesn't really end up using it. Here's Orianna, so I want to get Ori into my comp. So I believe I take out the, what do I take out? I take out the Poppy. This makes Clockwork. Excuse me. So I do need to keep rolling here. I need to try to hit Jhin, and I need to try to hit Scion, and I'll be much stronger if I can hit either one of those. So again, I'm rolling. There are some other good options here. There we hit Blitz, and we hit another Janna. So come on. I do need to keep rolling here. And there we hit 2-star Scion, so that's really nice. And now I need to start thinking about what other items I want to put in play here. So I do have these items on my bench, and I believe that I go ahead and roll a little bit. Oh, we hit 2-star Jhin. And at this point, I was like, wait a minute. I have 4 Jhins, and I have a Nico. So I had been telling Grillo to hold on to Jhins, and I believe he already had a 2-star Jhin that he was ready to send me because he's been holding Jhins, and now I've made my Jhin, and now I'm safe to go to level 9 because I hit 2-star Jhin, and I went ahead and hit the 2-star Scion. So like I've got the components for a Thief's Glove right now, and I think that that would be quite nice to have. So I believe that I go ahead and make that while we're sitting here, if I remember this correctly. So I see that there's a Stone Plate. I want Stone Plate on Galio, so I'm kind of building Galio's items here. And then I've got this Thief's Club, so I'm just going to make it on a Caitlyn. So that way the item will be, that the way I'll be able to hold on to that item and put it on someone else at the start of the next round. So yeah, I just need one more Jhin because I can get the 2-star Jhin from Grillo, and I believe he's going to send that along right any second now. Yeah, there it goes. So there we go. There's the 2-star Jhin. Grillo was holding the Jhins for me, so he sends me a 2-star Jhin. I have 4 Jhins myself. I've got a Nico, so we just need one more Jhin for 3-star Jhin. And yeah, starting to look pretty good. So I will go ahead and put this on Orianna, because why not? She's a decent holder of the Thief's Glove. And yeah, I'm still getting more items. Remember, I'm still getting more items from Junkyard. I don't know if you saw. I think one popped out at the start of this round, so I'm still continuing to get more items. I have so many items thanks to having Junkyard in the entire game, and I've been able to make like perfect best in slot items. Oh, and then I immediately get the Jhin. I was like, that's it. All I have to do is Nico the Jhin, and I've got it. So yeah, there you go, 3-star Jhin. And of course, now I could put the Infinity Edge for just lull damage on him, but I want to be responsible. I'm going to go ahead and put in the Guardian Angel. It's safer to do it this way. And now I just need someone else to put Galio's items on. So I see a Misfortune. I was like, all right, I'll just put the items on MF because that keeps Sniper Trait in play. Obviously, a bunch of these items are not going to be great. Like Gargoyle Stoneplate, it's like, what? But she's just holding that item for Galio. Now, the question is, do I even get to play Galio? Because this is now just completely crazy. 3-star Jhin does insane damage. I almost wish I'd put the Infinity Edge on him just because the damage with Infinity Edge plus Last Whisper plus Giant Slayer would be unbelievable. But I wanted to be responsible just in case someone hooks Jhin or he gets, I don't know, jumped on by assassins or something like that. So I went the safer route, and I do not anticipate losing another round in this match. So we actually had someone in the chat on one of the other teams say level 3 Jhin. So Grillo says, I passed him a 2-star and he hit 6 on his own. And I said, plus a Nico. So basically, I found 5. I had a Nico for 6, and Grillo found 3. And this is not uncommon in double up mode. If you're new to this mode, you can expect to see a lot of 3-star champions that are like 3 costs and 4 costs, occasionally even a 3-star 5 cost. I know that I believe Grillo and Symbol played a game where they hit a 3-star Jace because it was the same thing. One of them was able to get 3 copies, and another person I think got 5 copies plus a Nico's help. So yeah, you can expect to see this, and you really need to play boards that are stronger than average in this game mode. It's like you should be going in with the expectation that you're going to be able to build boards like this. By the way, that Yordles comp, yeah, it just gets absolutely run over. So yeah, this game not especially close. You may have noticed that I have won every single round. I have not lost a single round yet in this game. I am on a 17 match winning streak, and we are on round 17. And Grillo has lost 2 rounds the entire game. Here, I end up spotting an Akali, and I believe I actually grabbed this to send over to Grillo. I think he said he just would transfer all the items on Lysandra over. So he's got 4 scrap, 2 socialite, and he's got 3 assassins, so he'll have 4 assassin Akali. So he's got like a scrap plus assassin board, kind of like this mixture of the two of them. So I'll send that over, and we're looking at this lobby, and he makes a 2-star Yumi, and I think he said he could send a 2-star Yumi over to me if I wanted it, but I was like, I'm probably okay. I can look to replace Heimer with a better unit. Like obviously Yumi would be better, but the unit I really need is Galio because like I have Galio items on Misfortune, so I'm really looking for Galio is the unit that I want. And the board that the person we're up against is pretty strong. Like those are not bad Yone items by any means, but like 3-star Jhin just kills these units so quickly. Really have no shot, and we're gonna knock that player out of the game. Grillo has already won his round, and yeah, now it's really just a matter of we're gonna need to win like one more round because this other team's at 1 HP. And yeah, so I was like, all right, well, I guess I go to 9. Like I was trying to preserve econ so I could roll down at level 9, but it looks like the game's going to be over on the next round, so we just need to roll down quickly, or go to 9 quickly, or else we're not going to have any chance even to hit level 9. So I see there's a Galio. I was like, I'll just take the Galio. Grillo had gotten Stand United augment for one of his later augments, so he's trying to make as many traits as possible so he can take advantage of Stand United and get the bonus AD and AP. But like my board is. We're both really strong right now. And oh, look, I get another item. So okay, that's a thing. All right, so I'll go ahead and make Gargoyle Stoneplate, and I wouldn't make the yeah. So now I'm rolling down and seeing if I can hit anything else. I have hit the 2-star Ori. I hit 2-star Janna, so I have 2-starred everything except the Galio thus far. And I'm rolling down, rolling down. I see Yumi, and I was like, all right, I'll play the Yumi over the Heimer, and then there's another Yumi. So I wouldn't normally make the. Do I end up making the Gunblade here? I wouldn't normally make it, but it's the last round. I guess I just decided not to. So I get Zephyred by this player who is doing the best they can to try to stop Jhin, but that only takes Jhin out of the fight for a few seconds. And honestly, I might be able to win this round without Jhin anyway, because the Scion plus Galio is really strong in its own right. But Jhin's going to come down from that tornado, and he's basically just going to one shot everything. So I win my round. Grillo wins his round. This is over. I don't lose a round the entire match, and Grillo is. I mean, we're both on 91 HP, so that was just absolutely disgusting how easily we won that round. Oh, our little legends are celebrating together. So that was not a close game. Sometimes the games I cast are close. This one wasn't. I wanted to cast this one because I hit the 3-star Jhin, and it was really fun using the junkyard augment. So just a little thing here. I'm hoping to do some more double up games so I can get some more double up footage. And I think that that would be a lot of fun to have as well. So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys are doing well. Until next time, have a great week, and I will see you guys again soon.